The NBA All-Star Game of 2014 is now officially in the books, and a lot of people have been critical of many things going into and with the results of All-Star Weekend in New Orleans. Now, here's one thing. No one understood what the hell was going on in the dunk contest, and I, for one, did not necessarily understand it as well. I understand that John Wall did win the best dunk of the night. The freestyle round, you'd like to see a little more teamwork put into it. Harrison Barnes was totally shown up by the rest of the dunkers in the field, specifically Damian Lillard and Ben McLemore. Ben McLemore had one of the better dunks of the night when he jumped over Shaquille O'Neal and then was basically crowned the king of the dunk contest, thus Sacramento King. Well done, Ben McLemore. But then going into the final event, of course, last night in the actual All-Star game, look, we understand that it's a show, and we understand that there's no defense involved whatsoever. And if you look at the box score, it will certainly reflect that. A lot of records were shattered, including, again, no defense being played, the most total points in an NBA All-Star game. But what I specifically liked about the All-Star game, and what many people do not like, is the fact that there was no defense being played. Now, why exactly do I like that? Because Blake Griffin showed us what exactly he could do, not in a slam dunk contest and in an actual game. Granted, again, there was no defense being played. But we got to see the pure athleticism and the pure skill of a lot of these guys. And then in the fourth quarter, when it actually gets pretty interesting and the game is close, Carmelo Anthony looked really, really good. I believe he hit 7 3-pointers in this game, 6 or 7 3-pointers. Will he stay or will he leave New York? Remains to be seen in 2014, free agency of 2014. Kyrie Irving, these are the sort of skills that I love seeing and being put out against fine competition. Because, look, Dwight Howard doesn't want to be totally embarrassed. Steph Curry doesn't want to be totally embarrassed. And yet Kyrie Irving's handles, as I tweeted last night, are absolutely insane. He can cross over anybody at any given time, and he rightfully so won the MVP award. So we're looking at the box score, the records that were shared. By the way, Violet Palmer was the first woman to officiate an All-Star game, so I love seeing that, and even Scotty Brooks and her had a fine moment prior to the game. The All-Star records that were shattered: most combined points with 318, most points by one team, 163 by the East, most combined field goals made, 135, most field goals made by one team, 70 by the East, most combined three-pointers made, 30, most three-pointers made by one team, 16 by the West, most three-point attempts, 100. The previous was 71. Most three-point attempts by one team, 56 by the West. Most assists, 88 combined assists, that is. Most field goals made by one player, Blake Griffin with 19. Most of those obviously were by dunks. And most three-pointers made by one player, Carmelo Anthony with 8. So there you go. So do you guys value the All-Star game? Thoughts in the comments section below. I did ask a few of you to chime in on Twitter. Here were those responses. Jacob Hoffman tweets at Strom, in a game with absolutely no defense, it's only right that Kyrie, Melo, and Blake look like the best players on the floor. Brady Jordan says, as a Cavs fan, it's always great to see your players having a good time at All-Star Weekend. Both Dion and Kyrie played great. All right, Junior tweets at Strom, my opinion, KD was forcing his threes at the end of the game, wanted to be the hero of the day, SMH. And then lastly, David Nakar says, thought Melo should win because he was more entertaining to watch, in my opinion. NBA needs to change ASW. I believe he's meaning All-Star Weekend. I want to see a 1v1 tournament. I also want to see a 1v1 tournament. That would be awesome. But then again, you'd have those guys that don't want to compete. You wouldn't get the finest talents, because maybe they fear getting embarrassed, except for the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron Jameses, and whatnot. By the way, I love how LeBron James and Kevin Durant, both after the game, were all saying, look, it's not about me versus LeBron. This is a team game, so let's try to incorporate that as much as possible. So do you value All-Star Weekend? Thoughts? You know where. Comment section below. And also do me a favor, subscribe to 2IT Sports.